Welcome, everybody. We appreciate everybody coming here today. Jen and I have done this presentation. We've done it at, last year and then also at the NICE K-12 conference in California last year. I'm always excited to work with Jen. So we've built a good relationship and lots of collaboration through the last couple of years.
And we want this to be interactive, so you guys, you have control of your mics. If you want to ask questions or whatever, please jump in. So this isn't just listening to us. Please be interactive.
All right. So, Angie kind of already covered a little bit about us. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Jen.
Okay, and so the only other thing I was going to add is, so I've been doing Cyber Patriot, and I did my first Girls Go Cyber this year. I highly recommend you guys look at that if you have some girls who are really interested in it. You don't have to have any prior knowledge. I will say, for those of you who've never done Cyber Patriot before, it's very competitive and it can be really frustrating, but it's so rewarding to the students. And we knew nothing about it when we got into it, and we did great. So and as Angie said, I was with Riverside High School, and I am transferring this year to Loudoun County High School. So that's exciting.
Just a little about me. I have Cyber Nights. It's a club I formed 3.5 years ago. I'm doing my first year of Cyber Patriot this year. I've done pretty well with the Girls Go Cyber. My team has made it twice to the national championship round. And we've placed in that championship round, placed really well. I also am the advisor for FBLA. And of course, some of you, I've seen you on Hack It Up with Chrissy and Friends. It's just a series I came up with this summer just to kind of help cybersecurity educators get some resources for the new year. This Thursday's our last summer series, and it's actually me and Jen. Jen's my guest this week. So come check us out Thursday at 10 o'clock.
And how do they get there, Christy?
You can send me a message and I'll add you to the invite for the Zoom link.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so what we wanted to talk to you guys about is, what is a pacing guide and why is it really important? And I can tell you, we've been working on this for the last 3 years, and really it's the roadmap that we use specifically for cybersecurity, because you guys, this is completely uncharted territory, right? So it's new to all of us, and having a detailed pacing guide we found to be so important. So it's the roadmap, it's the timeline. What do you want to teach in which quarter? And it's really a go-to for, it should be for everybody in your county if you can do that. But if you can't do that, then it's great just to have for you. Updated periodically is a nice way to say we're always updating that. We're always looking at ways to improve it, and how to align everything that we're teaching to the VDOE competency based tasks. So we're always looking at that, and this way we can say we are following the competencies, and we know exactly what we need to teach when. So we'll go to the next slide.
So who creates these pacing guides? In Spotsylvania County, when we created our first one, it was myself and Katrina Riggleman, and we basically, talked with some others in our county, worked, it's mainly teachers. We did talk to a couple academic coaches, curriculum specialists in our county, but, we just took the CTE competencies from Verso, broke them down. I know from doing the mapping this past spring with that team. We mapped the NIST KSAs to the 6302 course here in Virginia, and I learned a great deal about what's in those competencies. And
Mhm.
if you have an opportunity to, please, I would do so. Now, I will be posting the PDF versions. Verso is down. It's not coming back. So I do have the the competencies PDFs. So I will be posting those as well.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you need to get started? And we'll just go over this really quickly. I put the little asterisk against the Verso because, just like Christy said, it's down, and so luckily we do have those PDFs, so you guys can use those. Um, and looking at your calendar year, I mean, this year's crazy, guys, right? I mean, it's absolutely crazy. We don't know really what's happening to everything. So we have, you'll see kind of how we broke it out. We know in Loudoun County that we are going to be 100% distance learning for the first quarter. So you'll see in my plan, it is broken out. We meet with, right now, it's going to be online with our students 2 times a week. So you'll see how that works and how that works into the calendar. And you'll also see that Q2 through Q4, we don't know. We don't know if we're going to be distance learning, if we're going to go back to 100%. So there won't be dates in there. And that's why I said this is such a fluid document. So it does take a lot of patience and time when you're figuring out the guide. And just to go on what Christy said before, don't do this in a vacuum, right? And so if you're new to this, please reach out to somebody like us or to people in your county, because there's so much information out there. So we'll get into that as well.
So here's just a little diagram. I've heard some people say that they didn't have a pacing guide and they were just so overwhelmed that year. And this is just, it's all over the place. So that's why I was uh, very, I wanted to do one. I was determined. I didn't want to be all over the place the first year. So I was very happy and thankful that we did do this, because our first year, there was little hiccups here and there, but we did what we wanted to do. We covered everything that we wanted. So,
It definitely makes things run a lot smoother.
oh yes.
And just real quickly, we'll go through this real quick, and then we'll get into what you guys really want to know, and I think it's the actual pacing guides. So big thing is breaking down the competencies, analyzing any of the data that's out there, and looking at the different testing, right? So there's so many different tests that you can do for the industry certifications. So for instance, in Loudoun County, for Intro to Cybersecurity or Cybersecurity Fundamentals, um, our administration has chosen to do workplace readiness testing for that one, and the CompTIA IT fundamentals exam for CSO. So that's really good to know up front, so you can plan for that in the background. So when we say backwards map from summative assessment dates, really know what your industry certification or your certification is going to be for that class, so that you can plan,
Yeah.
especially for IT fundamentals.
Yeah, and also, like, there's a deadline in which your CTE admin needs to get these certifications into the state. So always make sure that you know that date.
Okay, and there we go. Go ahead.
So here's just an overview of how I started in Spotsylvania County. We developed a plan. Um, January and March, just kind of went through the competencies, came up with the outline and a chart. April through August, we did teacher training. We started building lessons. We had our first semester done before we went on summer break. And August, we started implementing because we actually went back early that year and review and revise. You'll see, because we're going to show you an example of our pacing guides. They're changing. They change every year because you might find something new that you want to add or something that didn't work right and you tossed. So they're always being revised each year.
And the best thing that we did when we started out, so uh, was to work together. And so Christy had already done a lot of this work. So we took what she had done and then we started working on ours, and then we really bounced ideas off of each other, and that's been such a huge help.
So this is the first pacing guide. When we first started teaching Cyber 1 fundamentals in 2018-19, this was our pacing guide. Um, so, whoops. And then it changed, but then this is the one right here for the 2021 year. I used to teach Linux after the semester, which is in January. Now I actually teach English Linux at the beginning of second quarter because my kids do a lot of competitions. So I wanted to start teaching them Linux for CTFs a lot sooner. This is my pacing guide for CSO. It's 6304 the state, but our county decided to name it differently because to match more what it is, networking. We go to we certify with the MTA, the Microsoft Technology certificate exam for security fundamentals our first year, and then networking fundamentals our second year. And this course is mapped to that certification. And then this year I'll be teaching the only high school in Spotsylvania County to be teaching the 6306 course. And this is actually being revised already because I'm mapping it towards Cyber.org's Security Plus course that they have.
And that's a really good point, Christy, that even that, you know, you think you know what you're doing, and then you find this really great resource and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, well, we can change it like this. So
Yeah.
and looking at the cyber.org, so um, they have a great resource for Security Plus. So if anybody is going to be doing the CompTIA Security Plus for an advanced class like this, that's a great resource to go to.
And especially with a really network heavy course, which the 6304 is, this, you know, kids were like, this is not the fun cybersecurity part. And as my colleague Katrina calls it, it's not the sexy side of cybersecurity. And it's not. So I was like, oh, this is the stuff that they want to do. They want to learn how to create a backdoor or, you know, place a Trojan. So, and you get to learn all that in that course. So if you, definitely recommend you checking out the cyber.org events page for their workshops.
And you guys, when we're talking about cyber.org, we're talking about NYSERC. So
Yep.
NYSERC changed their name to cyber.org. So that's what we're talking about there. And they have teacher training as well. So just like we're doing for Virginia Cyber Range, they're doing it for the cyber.org things. And it's really great training. So Chrissy took it, I took it, and some other people. So Ellen Fry from our school took it too. So I thought it was super helpful. So, okay, so here is what we had for Loudoun County. And again, this is for 6302, which is the intro class. So first quarter, this is the old, the one that we have, the old one. And we did careers in the beginning, and then we went into more of an introduction. And the reason that we started really with careers at the beginning of the first quarter is to say, why should you even learn this class? What is it about cybersecurity? What can we do with this in the future? And it's amazing, you guys, what these kids did. So we had them do a lot of research projects for careers, and they're like, oh my gosh, Mrs. Martin, guess what? I found out all about this digital forensics and I can work for the police department. Yeah, of course you can. So it was really neat. And then it kind of was the hook that got him into the class. So then we went into, okay, so now you see what you can do in the real world. Let's figure out how to get there. And then we went into the intro, and then into more of the networking part. And we didn't know what the certification was going to be the first year. We were hoping it was going to be MTA, but then our administration decided to go with workplace readiness. So you can see that this was definitely a working document. And the first time we had threats and vulnerabilities in fourth quarter, that was way too late, because that's another great hook that you'll see that we've moved up.
I will also like to let me go back. Something that we added to our pacing guides recently is we're starting to map our lessons to cyber range activities. So
Mhm.
that's actually going to be filled in here soon. It's actually filled in. This is actually a copy from last month, but if you want the updated one, just let me know, and they'll have activities mapped to each of those lessons. This is your
Okay, so what we've done this year, we've done two different things. So what we did was we did intro to cyber and just put all of the competencies in. This was a deliverable that several teachers from Loudoun County created for our administration. And so this is kind of the updated version in a just quick highlighted version. And we took this, and then we were able to create more of a detailed pacing guide. As you'll see here, so the pre-testing is workplace readiness. We're going to be doing the cybersecurity fundamentals and careers and threats and vulnerabilities in the first quarter. You guys look at the weeks here. This is what came out I think it was 3 weeks ago, and we're thinking, dudes, this is not going to work. So we're waiting for this to change. Quarter one right now in Loudoun County is going to be 7 weeks. Quarter two, 8, 3, and etc. In our second quarter, we've decided, just like Christy said, to put operating systems in the second quarter, and also start programming. And the reason we're doing that is just like Chrissy said before, it's great to do for if your kids are doing any kind uh, of the Cyber Patriot or any kind of competitions, even with Capture the Flags. So we have decided that we're using Code High School, codehs.org for teaching Tracy the Turtle for our programming in second quarter. Third quarter, you can see we're getting more into networks and ethics and data security, cybersecurity implications for current emerging technologies. That's going to be one of the things I'm going to show you from one of the lesson plans. And then in fourth quarter, we want to keep that programming focus going. So, Sarmeet and Ellen from Loudoun County created some great lessons on teaching HTML. So, and creating their own, so kids can create their own websites and that kind of thing. That goes with the programming aspect of intro. And we're also going to give, this is new this year as well, we're going to do introduction to databases. And the reason we're doing that is because if these students go on to take CSO, and right now they like I said, our industry certification for CSO is IT fundamentals. There's a big part of that exam that is database, and it's not in anything that we've had before. And I just took this exam a few weeks ago, the IT fundamental security or CompT exam, and it's pretty difficult. So I don't know if y'all have taken it, but it's pretty difficult. All right, and now I'm going to show you if Christy, if you want to go to the next one, I'll show you the
That's
more.
CSO.
Oh, the CSO. Okay, yep, sorry. Here's CSO, what we're doing. And again, we're different, I think, than some other counties because the main tool that we use for CSO is Project Lead the Way and Virginia Cyber Range, as well as Cisco Network Academy, Net Academy. And that's great for Packet Tracer. So if any of you guys were interested in doing Cyber Patriot, you know you need Packet Tracer. So for CSO, I'll go through this really quickly. Using desktop systems, looking at the network media and user training and support. We're doing that in the first quarter, and then getting into network security and the ethics, preparing for the industry certification. Even though that's in second quarter, it really is through the entire class. And so then we get into third quarter, network design essentials, the standards, TCP/IP, TCP/IP, and the whole OSI model. That is really big on that IT fundamentals exam as well. So make sure you're preparing your kids for that. And then getting into network media and network security and design for fourth quarter. And then of course at the end, giving the IT fundamentals exam. I can tell you in my CSO class this year, I had, of course, we lost fourth quarter, but we still gave our students the option to test for the CompT exam. I had 6 students that signed up for the exam, 5 took it, and out of the 5, 3 passed and 2 didn't. And luckily we had, I have to give a shout out to Sarmeet Chabra, who is amazing in doing reviews with all of the Loudoun County kids to prepare them for that exam. So it's tough, but I was really excited that they did, several of them passed it. So that's CSO. Okay, and then this is the one that we're working on now. So I want to show you, we've, just like what Christy was talking about, we're changing the dynamics a little bit of it. And when it
Can you
pops
see
up
it?
here, no. Mm-mm. Can you share your screen? Can you see it, Christy? There we go. There we go. Can you make it a little bigger? Okay. All right. So so we go up to the top. You can see, oh, perfect. Going up, you'll see at the top, we've got the quarter, the dates, the lesson content, additional resources, and it's not supposed to be companies, it's supposed to be competencies. Sorry. That was, that's a great job of having your spell checker going. So this template came from Ellen Fry, and I loved it. And then I said, hey, this is a great thing to get more detail in. So as you can see, it says lesson, and then the presentation. This is the exact URL that has the presentation available. If it has any notes, if there's videos, worksheets, and then homework. So this really is a detailed pacing guide. And then over here, additional resources. So you can see in additional resources, if you go up to the top. So the first one, you'll see Schoology. So we're going to Schoology this year. And then you can see review all course resources. And this is important for you guys as well. And please share if you have any more that you think we should use. So we have the Virginia Cyber Range. In the Virginia Cyber Range, we're going to be using the Intro for Cyber for high school. And in that course content, there's also Linux, Cyber Ethics and Law. And so look at that stuff. It's great. Code High School, what we're using in that is the intro to cybersecurity. We used Vigneer last year. We're looking at just using the new cybersecurity that Code High School just came out with. We also use Python coding, that unit, and these are all free resources, you guys, too. And then the CS, Computer Science Careers, when we're doing our career stuff. Code code.org. We're looking at code.org for some stuff, cyber.org, and in the cyber.org we have the cybersecurity section, the career section, cyber literacy, and then Sarmeet found this w3schools.com, and she used that for the HTML part and said it was great. So we'll be using that as well. And then you see all the competencies here mapped. So here I put the numbers, but I also put the names because you guys, if you know anything about these competencies, they change on a yearly basis. So make sure you're looking for that. So let's go down, Christy, if you can go to the side and then go down, and I'll kind of walk through the quarters real quick.
All right,
And
we're getting close to time.
oh shoot. Okay. You guys take a look at that, and then if you have any questions, let me know. But we changed it around. So go ahead and this is going to be out there for you guys to look at. So we'll just go to the next one. Okay. All right. Sorry. Then I'll be really quick with this one. So lesson 1 I have for distance learning. And so this one, I wanted to really highlight this one. So if we click on that link, Christy, and bring it up, no, the lesson 1 distance learning VCR Linux lesson, what we did is we used Dr. Raymond's video as part of our lesson. And so that was a great thing for our students to look at. And we did this in a HyperDocs format. So is that coming up, Christy? Because
Yeah, sorry, I have to switch.
Oh, okay. Yep. And there we go. Awesome. Okay, so this is what this was the kind of the mandate from our county to do everything for fourth quarter in HyperDocs. So this is a HyperDocs, and you can see here this was taking Dave's Bash Basics, which is really the beginning of the Linux unit, which was fantastic, and we went just line by line of telling the kids what to do. So we had the worksheet link in there, the video link in there, what it should look like, and if we scroll down a little bit, how to do it, and then it was more of the explain what did you learn and how are you going to apply this, and then how can you share it, what can you share, and then the reflection. And then they extend, this was important as well, and this is what I love about the Virginia Cyber Range. So we said, all right, now that you finished this lesson, go in there and play around. Figure out what else is there. Do you know any other Linux commands? Try them out, because it's the best place for them not to break anything. So that's one of the lessons I wanted to share with you guys. And then I won't share the other lesson in there. If you guys have seen our thing before, it's on, it's an Internet of Things. You become ubiquitous computing. And this lesson I got primarily from talking with Dr. Gardner, Dr. Chuck Gardner from NYSERC or cyber.org. So take a look at that. And I gave you all the stuff if you want to do it. It's a 4-week project. Go ahead, Christy. Are you go? Oh, you're going to go on to yours, right, Christy?
Yeah.
Okay. So while she's pulling that up, I can just tell you on the IoT, the one thing that you do have to buy for that is or download is the iRobot movie, and the kids love that movie with Will Smith. So it's great. And it's pretty classroom friendly. You might have to skip through the shower scene or some of the language, but you know, it's fun. Go ahead.
So my kids, I'm very heavy in the capture the flag model in my classroom. My classroom is set up as, they're set up as teams of 6. It looks like they could be doing a Cyber Patriot competition. There are 5 pods of 6 computers in my lab. Don't know how that's going to work this year, but and they have to work together. So we do a lot of CTS. So I get them working in that team environment. And this PowerPoint right here, I'm not going to open it up, but it is available in the folder in which I'm going to share with you, and it just goes through all the challenges of like how to solve a digital forensics, looking at data in a pic, how to find the GPS location, of where that pic is. And I have a picture of me sitting there with a gnome in the garden of YouTube headquarters in San Francisco. And the kids get excited. They're like, oh, you were at YouTube? And I was like, yeah. And then the next one's of me sitting at the Googleplex in the cafeteria. So the kids, they really enjoy it. And I tell them about the stories of visiting and everything. And then also, I also have, for when we go into cryptography, each day we're in that cryptography unit. They start with a bell ringer of some type of cipher, and it's sitting there. I have examples. All the files to create them are in the folder. You have a Jefferson cipher, a wheel cipher. I have a paper Enigma machine. I even have some visual cryptography. So when I do my CTFs, I do physical elements of it, whether it's picking a lock, whether it's flying a drone through an obstacle course, or it's visual cryptography in which they have to put these coded sheets together to get an image, and then they have to answer that, put that answer in the CTF. So I get these kids out of the seats on some of the CTFs. And then also, there's also we do a digital crime scene, cybercrime scene, found it on GitHub. We also did something similar at the JMU boot camp that we did a few years ago. So we do this, the kids love it. They have 15 minutes to solve the crime, and it's really intense. They get their hearts pumping. So I have all the information for that lesson as well. Oh, this is some pictures of them doing it. We have mannequins. Our county purchased some mannequins, and they get suited up in gloves and everything. And it comes down, they have to find, there's a hidden USB on a lanyard, and they have to find that that piece of evidence, and then they also have to find the password hidden in a spy coin. So it's pretty intense for the kids. They enjoy it. They're pretty bummed we didn't get to it this year, but that's all.
And I want to be down in Christy's class when she does that lesson, because I think that is just awesome. Um, we didn't have, I try to get us mannequins. Girl, I don't know how you did it, but
Well, you can
that's
also
awesome.
reach out to your marketing departments because they have mannequins. Ask them if you could borrow it for a couple days, dress them up in some hacker gear, and reserve a room in your library or somewhere. So reach out to your marketing department.